Jack Catterall says that he's primed to face the best fighters in his weight division of 140 pounds. And so on Saturday, October 26th, he's going to take on Regis Prograis and stand on business. Let's talk about this fight and what's to be expected. On Saturday, October 26th, from Manchester, UK, Jack Catterall will be taking on Regis Prograis in a super lightweight bout scheduled for 12 rounds between two men who have aspirations toward winning a world title once again. In the case of Catterall, he had challenged for a world title in February of 2022 against Josh Taylor, a fight resulting in where many people felt he won the match but lost a split decision that bothered him until they had their rematch in May of this year. As far as Regis Prograis, he has had a taste of the super lightweight title for a second time when he won the belt and in a stellar fight against Jose Zepeda, stopping him in the late rounds, became a two-time world champion, only to be dethroned 2 fights later by Devin Haney. So as these two men have decided to face one another, they're calling this promotion Stand on Business. And in Catterall's case, he's thinking that it is time for him to face other top name fighters in the division, such as former world titleist Regis Prograis. And Prograis has agreed to face Catterall because the two of them are on the same trail of ambition. As they come together, they are two southpaws, only an inch apart in height, where Prograis is taller at 5'8", but 4 years older at 35. Catterall has a 2-inch reach advantage at 69, but the two men's styles are what stand out about this fight. They are as different, as far apart as the East is from the West. Catterall, whom I've termed an old school type fighter, he's a boxer, puncher, counterpuncher, looking to allow his opponents to lead and pick them apart decisively. He does this very effectively and uses little nuances of shoulder and elbow and forearm blocking sequences to deter fighters. He'll also launch into an offensive attack out of those positions. Prograis, whose record now is 29-2 with 24 KOs, is more of a hunter counterpuncher. He'll come forward after you, but he would like you to lead the play so he can counter with power shots off of what you do. He's not a big-time jabber, but he will dip and slip and try to step in toward you with you getting off and he countering from angles and sometimes with power punch leads. Prograis has done this for most of his career. Catterall, who again is a counterpuncher off of sequence, but can pump the jab very strongly. In his rematch in May of this year against Josh Taylor, His record now 29-1 after avenging the loss to Josh Taylor earlier, 13 KOs. Catterall can really be dangerous early in fights. His power is really there early on, and when he's trying to establish himself, he sets out with a different type of strength leading in the fight than he does finishing up. Some people think that his stamina wanes toward the end of the fights. I beg to differ on that. The way I've assessed how he boxes is he tries to build a big lead early and then play a game of cat and mouse, catch me if you can, in the later portions of a fight. This has proven effective against Josh Taylor, especially in their rematch. Prograis, who also fought Josh Taylor, found himself not active enough in the championship rounds where Josh Taylor, enjoying a hometown advantage, was able to ink out a split decision win over him. He felt that he really won the fight, but he conceded to Josh Taylor, something I think he should not have ever done, because the majority decision, I said split decision, but the majority decision loss to Josh Taylor was something that he should have demanded a rematch for, just like Catterall did. Taylor didn't want to face Catterall in the second fight, and Catterall knew that he had his number from dropping him for the first time in his career the first time they met, and banging him up pretty good. Taylor gave a number of excuses as to why the fight was so close, but nothing was closer than what we could see with our own eyes. It was just that Catterall was the better fighter, and he proved it when they rematched one another. He has counter left hands that are sharp and crisp. He's a little sneaky with it. Sometimes he hides the main punches he wants to throw, and then out of nowhere, here comes a power punch or a set of shots that Catterall will engage with as he's on the move. He'll be stepping to the side, kind of an old Ezra Charles move, or even when you think about it, old fighters like Archie Moore, they'll tuck and they'll roll and then they'll come back with something. Even when Regis Prograis is in pursuit, he needs to pick up his volume of punches. His jab, which like I said, is pretty non-existent, he's more like a pawing trying to find range, but he's going to need to be able to score with this punch against Catterall, because if he's trying to paw and probe, Catterall will counter over those pawing and probing shots with power shots. And Regis already showed against Devin Haney that if he's caught solidly, he kind of wobbles a little bit. And in his fight against Daniel Zorilla, he was down early in that fight and he was hurt. So there's just something that Regis is going to have to watch out for when he's in there with Catterall. Another thing about Catterall that could be an advantage is being in his home country. The people will be cheering for him. They will be booing for Prograis. And this can inspire Catterall, because even against Josh Taylor, he didn't have that type of support in their first fight. In the second fight, the people kind of leaned toward him a little more because people had grown tired of what Josh Taylor had been doing and the way he had been behaving publicly. Overall, I think this is a good matchup between these two men, and I believe that Regis Prograis has a chance to become a 3-time world champion if he could get over the fact that he's fighting like a fish out of water. He wasn't able to do this against Josh Taylor, and now that he's a few years older than he was then, I'm of the sound belief that he won't be able to do it again. And Catterall is more inspired. He feels like he wants to challenge these other fighters who are prominent in the sport, and he is looking for his opportunity to become a world champion again. I say again because he should have been the undisputed champion in that first fight with Josh Taylor. But maybe the best is still yet to come. He is only 31, and he is in a great opportunity to get something done. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.